guys, as most of you know, my name's Purvi. I'm Ben's daughter. I recently taught her some exercises that she benefited from, and she requested that I make this video for her friends because a lot of these exercises improve your functional fitness and can be done by anybody. And with this quarantine going on, I think it would benefit all of us to be a little more active and move around more. I've been working as a physical therapy aide for a few years, and we'll be starting PT school this July. So I have learned a lot of exercises that are really good to do at home. So hopefully you guys will find this helpful. I use a little bit of equipment at home, but if you don't have that, that's okay. I use 5-pound weights. You can use anything. You can use cans, water bottles. If you want to get a little bit heavier, you can use milk gallons. Just about anything that you can find in the home that is heavy, you can use. Also, you don't have to use 5 pounds. Obviously, you can use whatever weight you're comfortable with. It's really important not to push yourself and to use more weight than you can handle because you can injure yourself. So make sure that you know exactly what weight you're comfortable with. I also use 2 bands. I use a TheraBand, which looks like this, and I use a mini band. This one can loop around your feet, and then this one I use for a lot of arm exercises. But if you don't have these, that's okay. You can do all the exercises without resistance. It is helpful to have at least this band, because if you don't have the mini band, you can always just tie this up and put it around your feet, and it works just as well. If you do have a mini band, I suggest that you start with using some easy resistance and then build up slowly, because just like the weights, you don't want to hurt yourself if you've never done resistance training before. So today I'm going to show you guys a few exercises for your arms, for your legs, and for your core. So it's a good full body workout. And then I'll end with some stretching. But before I do that, I think it's really important that obviously warm-up is a very integral part of working out and exercising. And without that, we can pull muscles and we can really hurt ourselves. We can be very sore. And so it's really important that you make sure that your body is ready to go. So I generally like to do a active dynamic warm-up. So that's a little less stretching, more like just marching in place like this. I do toe touches where I just try to reach for my toe while kicking. Of course, I kick as far as you can, but it really helps to warm up the hamstrings. So just kicking back and forth. I do some lunges, if you have a long pathway, you can just do lunges down and back like this. I also like to do one stretch where I open up my hips just like this. So really stretching it to the side and then coming back in the other way, just like this. And a little jogging in place for 30 seconds, some butt kicks. So you're really warming up those quads, high knees. I totally understand if that might be a little too intense. Do it at your own pace for as long as you can. You really only need to warm up for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, but I promise you, if you start with that, you'll feel a lot better doing the exercises moving forward. So that's the warm up. So the first thing I'm going to show you guys is some exercises with the arms. I'm going to be using the weights the entire time. If you guys feel like it's getting too hard, definitely just down the weight or get rid of the weight, it's okay. So when I'm doing my arm exercises, I like to incorporate some leg movement so that I'm getting as much of a full body workout as I can. But if that is too intense for you, it's okay. You can just keep it at the arms. So the first thing is a basic bicep curl. So you're just going to come up and back down. So making sure palms are facing forward just like this. And that when you come up and you come down, it's controlled, right? You don't want to swing your arms like this, because then you're losing the impact that it has on your biceps. So you really want to make sure that you're engaging them the entire time, just like this. You can keep it here, or if you want to take it to the next level, what I like to do is add a curtsy lunge, which is just like doing a curtsy, and you're doing it in a lunge form. So just like down like this, and the other side. So really making sure you go down as much as you can. If you can't really go down too far, what you can do as a substitute is just to hold it for about 5 seconds before you come back. That gives you the same intensity as if you were going all the way down and all the way back up. So that's one exercise I like to do. The other one I like to do, I don't really add anything with the legs for this, but it's called a lateral raise, or you also might have heard of it as wings. So that is basically when your palms are facing in, just like this, and you're just gonna bring the weight up to your shoulders and back down. Now this one's pretty hard. It really tests both your biceps and your triceps. I have a difficult one with this, but it's really important that, again, you don't engage in that swinging motion, because then you're gonna be taking away the impact that it has. So you really wanna control it coming up and control it coming down. Don't bring it above your shoulders, because then it's gonna lose its impact. The more you control it, the more you'll feel it. I forgot to mention before, but for the bicep curls, I like to do 3 sets of 10. I generally keep it 3 sets of 10 for all of my exercises, but if you find that an exercise is slightly harder, or it's you're losing your form, the more you do it, it's better that you do less reps, but with the best form. So for example, if you find that with lateral raises, you are using your back too much to bring your arms up, and you're not actually engaging your biceps and your triceps, then instead of doing 3 sets of 10, maybe you can do 3 sets of 8 or 3 sets of 6. Because I promise you, it may feel like you are getting less out of the exercise, but the better the form, the better the exercise results are gonna be. So, but I generally do 3 sets of 10. You can try that, and if you find that it's not really working for you, you guys can definitely judge what's best for you. I would definitely keep listening to your body the entire time. So those are lateral raises. The next one I like to do, I don't really have a name for this, but what you're gonna do is you're gonna have your weights at about the height of your cheeks. Your elbows are gonna be up, shoulders down, and you're just gonna press up, like a chest press. Just up and down, just like this. So making sure that your shoulders aren't coming up and that you are maintaining that control, just like that. You can add a lunge with this. You can do whatever you like with your feet. If you want to like step back and forth while you do it and keep it a little bit more active, you can totally do that. There are a lot of variations of this exercise and the exercises I'm about to show you. So if you guys know anything that can make it more intense, by all means, go for it. The next one I'm going to do is called, is for the triceps. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to cross your weights. If you feel like the weights together is, both weights together is too much, you can choose to do 1 dumbbell. But what you'll do is you'll bring it up just like this, and you're just going to dip, bend at the elbows, and back down. So you're not going to move anything else, but you're just going to bend at the elbows. That really engages your triceps, and it gets harder. So just making sure that, again, lots of control. You're not moving your shoulders. You're just bending at the elbows and back up. And then the last one that I like to do with the weights, and of course there are tons that you can do with weights. These are just the few that I choose to do. But the last one, they're called tricep kickbacks. So this is what you're gonna do, and I add a backward lunge with this. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna lean forward, you're gonna bring your arms up just like this, right by your waist. Your elbows are gonna be pointed back, and with your arms, you're just gonna kick your arms back and front, just like this. So just like when you're hinging at the elbows while doing these dips, you're gonna do the same thing here.
You're just gonna hinge at the elbow and back, just like this. Nothing else moves but that. And with that, when you kick your arms back, you're gonna go into a lunge. So 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, just like that. So that's what I like to do with weights. You know, pick whatever you really like from that, choose the intensity, it's all up to you. One other one that I like to do, all you need is a couch or a stool, anything at home, so it's friendly to do at home. What you're gonna do is, here, let me just move this so you can see it. You're going to come down like this, knees are gonna be slightly bent, you're gonna keep your heels on the floor, but your toes are gonna be up, your palms are gonna be facing forward, your fingers are gonna be facing forward, just like this, palms down, and all you're gonna do is you're gonna bend and back up. Now it's really easy for us to drop the hips instead of moving from the arms. So you wanna make sure that everything is isolated, nothing else is moving, and you're just moving from the arms. And you should really feel it in your triceps. Don't dip from the hips. When you find that you're doing that, stop and recalibrate, just like that. And then, 2 more exercises with the arms that I like to do. This you would use the band for. You're gonna grip the band palms up just like this, and you're going to open out and back in. Now the key to this is making sure your elbows aren't detaching from your body and you're not twisting in any way while opening. It should really be just as far as you can go and back in without moving your elbows. And chances are that it's gonna be a very small movement, but that's the most important thing. Sometimes the smallest movements bring the biggest results. So you just wanna open and close, open and close. And similarly, the second one, you're gonna do the same thing, but palms are gonna be down. Just open, close, open, close. They generally bring the same results. They both activate the triceps, but sometimes palms down is a little bit easier than palms up. So you can decide what you wanna do in that regard. So those are some basic arm exercises that you can do. The next thing I'm gonna show you guys is some core exercises. I know for a fact that my core is very weak, and this is something that I really need to work on a lot, but these are just a few simple exercises that I do to help build my core strength. And this, building up your core strength will really help if you have low back pain, because generally what happens is if your core isn't strong enough, it can't hold the weight of your entire torso, so it shifts that weight back onto your vertebrae and your back. And that's why a lot of the time our lumbar vertebrae, specifically in our low back and our sacral vertebrae, is what hurts the most. So if you were feeling that kind of low back pain, chances are you might just have to build up your core strength. And for that, you can do these exercises. Pilates is great, bar, anything that you can find online is really good, just ab exercises in general. So I'm gonna take my mini band. Again, you guys can tie this if that's easier. If you don't have a band at all, you can still do these exercises, no problem. So what you're gonna do is, the first one, you're going to put the band around your foot, and you're gonna go into a 90-90 position. So your legs are gonna be making a 90-degree angle. And then what you're gonna do, bring your arms behind your back, and you're going to do a bicycle motion with your legs, just like this. And as you're doing the bicycle motion, you're going to twist from side to side. So as my right foot presses out, I'm going to twist left and back, just like that. Trying to get your elbow to touch the opposite knee and trying to bring that foot lower, the legs lower as you do it. So that's a really good one. You can do without the band, it just gives an extra resistance, but without the band, it does the same thing. The other thing that I like to do is a basic plank. I generally do 30 seconds for 4 times. So I like hold it for 30 seconds, take like a 10-second pause and do 30 seconds again. So I'm doing planks for a solid 2 minutes. If you guys have never done it before or your core strength is pretty weak, Just try maybe like 10 seconds and then bump it up to 15, 20. Go slowly. If you push yourself the first day, then you're gonna hurt yourself and you'll be sore. So, you know, just listen to yourself. But what you're gonna do is you can do on your palms or on your forearms, but I generally like to do on my forearms. You're gonna come and you're gonna go into a total plank, and you're going to make sure, if somebody's nearby, make sure that they can check your form. Your hips should be down, your pelvic floor / abs should be tucked in, and you should be in a totally straight plane just like this. Make sure that you shift forward so that your shoulders are a little bit forward and that you are maintaining a totally straight line just like this. Now you're gonna hold that for 30 seconds, 4 times. You can put a timer on and that will help you keep track. And it's a really good exercise actually for everything, for your arms, for your core, for your quads, everything. It really engages the entire body. So that's one that I really, really like to do. So I'm gonna come back to some core exercises. I'm gonna do some legs first. And I'm going to come back to that just because I'm a little lost my breath for a second. And that's a good, actually, a point that I wanted to make. Generally, what I find helpful is that I break it up into sections. So I will do 4 rounds, 1 arm, 1 leg, and 1 ab exercise equals 1 round. So I'm gonna alternate. You know, I don't do all arms and all legs and all abs because I find that the versatility keeps my muscles on their toes. It's always keeping things unexpected, and it's always making sure that everything is being engaged all the time. And that way it also helps the muscles recover from an intense exercise. So I would say try to alternate and try to do 4 circuits if you can. That gives you a good like 40-45 minute workout with the warm-up and the cool down. So next thing I'm gonna do, put this mini band, you're gonna put it right above your knees. Right above your knees. Again, if you don't have the mini band, that's totally fine. You can do it without it. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go lie down on my back. You're going to keep your feet separated so that there's resistance in the band. Hands are gonna be down, and you're just gonna bridge up and back down. So this is just lifting the hips up and lifting them back down. So making sure not to arch your back up like this. The movement is coming from the hips, not the back. So you can see that I'm actually not coming up as high as I would if I was doing it from my back. And it's important that when you bridge up, that there is one solid line going down just like this. Now, if you want to intensify it, you can do a single leg bridge. So one leg is up and you're bridging up on one leg, just like this. But if you're not able to maintain the form, just come back down to 2 legs. The next one I like to do is called the clamshell. So this is a pretty common exercise, you may have heard of it. You're gonna be lying on your side just like this. Knees are gonna be bent. And you're just gonna open up just like this and back down. So what's really important with this is A, your feet stay together the entire time. B, your hips are not opening out, and that your knees are stacked up right on top of each other. Everything should be stacked up. This is not about opening out, it's just about opening up and down. This really engages your glutes and your hips. If you were to open out just like this, that engagement would be gone. So make sure you just come up and down. This is actually just as hard without the band. So even if you don't have a band, this is a really good exercise to do at home because it really helps you control your movement and making sure that you're not turning out. So the next one that I like to do with legs is called band walks. This one you can do without a band. It's easier if you do it with the band, but you can still do it without it. So what you're gonna do is the band is gonna be around your ankles, and if you find that the band around your ankles is too hard, bring it up to either your shins or right above your knees, and it'll be a lot easier. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go into a mini squat, so you're not gonna go all the way down, but a mini squat, And you're just gonna take small steps, just like this. Maintaining the resistance in the band, don't come all the way in. Even if you don't have a band, make sure that you're keeping that resistance. Your back is straight, everything is up, good posture. And you should really be feeling it right in your glutes and your hips. It should be burning by your first lap. It's really harder than it looks. So that is side to side. And then similarly, we have forward and backward. So these are called monster walks. So what you're gonna do is, just like you were making small steps to the side, you're gonna make them to the front and back. So you're gonna do diagonal, together, just like this. And then similarly going backwards, diagonal back, diagonal back, diagonal back, diagonal back. So still maintaining the same posture, knees bend, everything. Oh, actually I need this band. So next one, again, you can do it with the band, you can do it without the band. It's a hip burner, either way, called a hip burner, funny enough. So what you're gonna do is, you're gonna be on your side again, your legs are gonna be stacked up, and what you're gonna do is you're just gonna bring your leg up, leg back down. But if you have a band, I would say don't come all the way back down. Come up where the resistance is made, and then pull up from there. And if you don't have a band, I would say still do the same thing. Don't come all the way down. Don't let the hips relax. Make sure it's engaged the entire time, just like this. And this one, if you feel it all the way down your IT band, it's a really, really good exercise for anybody to do. Pause it for a second.